Hello everyone, PhoenixKnight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're debuting a new RPG today, as we have one that I've been meaning to put on the channel for a little while now. We are going to be playing Dragonbane from Free League Publishing. This is actually an RPG set in a fantasy world called the Misty Vale. We'll get to the situation on that in a minute. But this almost feels like a Dungeons and Dragons version. I guess the simplest way to describe it is probably a sillier D&D. Because we've got some pretty weird characters here. But similar to Dungeons and Dragons, it is a fantasy role-playing game. So we're going to give this a try with what I find to be a pretty unique system. But first, let's meet our characters, then we'll meet the scenario. So we've got, up first, we've got a Wolfkin fighter in Bastion Bloodjaw. Story for him: you have come from the northern wastelands in search of work, joy, and the finer things in life. Tired of your people's tribal feuds, you dreamed of something bigger and traveled south. There you worked as a mercenary, gladiator, caravan escort, and guardsman, before banding together with a company of adventurers. You are now on your way to the Misty Vale, enticed by rumors of demons, monsters, and mighty foes. We've got some special abilities here. Hunting instincts with willpower points of 3. I'm looking for... Oh, okay, so there is a separate stash of willpower points. You can use this ability to designate a creature in sight, or a creature you can catch the scent of as your prey. This counts as your action in combat. You can follow the scent of your prey for a full day, and you can spend 1 further willpower points, not an action, to gain a boon for an attack against your prey. Veteran willpower points of 1. Activating this ability at the start of your combat round, it allows you to retain your initiative card from the previous round instead of drawing a new one. Doing so does not count as an action. So that's actually unique to this game. I think it's similar in Twilight 2000, but we will be drawing initiative cards for the order that everybody will act in battle. We'll give these a quick shuffle, even though we won't need them for a little while at least. I'm planning on this being a fairly short adventure, just enough for me to push some pieces around, kind of get the feel for how the system works. In addition, I'm also going to be doing a little bit of storytelling aspects. I'm also going to be doing a little bit of storytelling. Probably nothing that's going to be canon in the unofficial lore of PhoenixKnight's Dragonbane campaigns. But I will be doing a little bit of storytelling, and if I need a yes or no question answered, I'm going to be using the Solo Adventurers Toolbox by Paul Bimler that's available on DriveThruRPG. He also does the Solo Investigator's Handbook that you might have seen for Call of Cthulhu. Let's meet his companion, as we have got Aura Moonsilver with him. You grew up in the tropical forests of the south, always in search of adventure, but also humbled by your family's expectations of discipline and reflection. After a troll attacked your village and killed many of your kinsmen, you decided to find a new future for yourself. Still seeking your destiny, you have concluded that journeying is your goal. Together with a group of fellow adventurers, you have traveled to the Misty Vale to see what it has to offer. Inner peace, no willpower cost. As an elf, you can meditate deeply during a stretch rest. You heal an additional D6 HP and a D6 extra willpower points, and can recover from an additional condition. You are completely unresponsive during your meditation and can't be awakened. Twin shot with a willpower cost of 3. By activating this ability when attacking with a bow, but not a crossbow, you shoot 2 arrows instead of 1. Roll just once to hit with a Bane. Damage is rolled separately. The arrows can be directed at the same target or 2 different targets. The way boons and banes work are just like how you'd think. So you would roll 2d20. I'm going to use green for Orla. I've got a brown set for what the hell is his name? Orton. Or no, Baston. So I'll roll the 2d20s. Oh boy. So a boon means we take the lesser of the results, and a bane means we take the greater. So in this case, we would have rolled a demon, which is what's considered a nat 20. So this is actually a system. This is actually a little bit different from Dungeons and Dragons in that high rolls are bad. So you want to roll under your. So this is a roll under system, where you want to roll under your skill value to succeed at the task. I'm just going to confirm that, but I'm pretty sure in glancing at it, that's how skill checks work in Dragonbane. Let's see. Skills. Roll the dice. Yep. Looks like it's going to be a roll under system. That's what I thought. We'll also be using the D20 as part of the oracle that I'll be using as part of the yes/no mechanic. So first, let's set the scene, and then we'll figure out what Bastin and Orla are doing together. So, the situation here is that we're currently going through Drakmar Pass as Dave's Tabletop Gaming stops by just in time for me to set the scene. I know you'll be listening to this on the drive home. All good. Hopefully you have a safe drive. I know this is one you've been wanting to see on the channel for a while, and I've been meaning to get to it. I'm just now finally getting around to it. Anyway, let's set the scene here. So the situation is that we are going after. So we're looking at the legend. The Secret of the Dragon Emperor is the adventurer, and your copy of Dragonbane is coming tomorrow. Nice. Okay, basically, our goal is to get to this town of Outskirt, and I'll explain why that's going to be a thing here. So they find a dying man So Bastin and Orla are finding a dying man as they're making their way to the Misty Vale through the Drakmar Pass. So they're in the Cummer. Actually, is that the Cummer or Rummer Mountains? That's the problem with this old style script is I can't really read it. So I think that I'm going to go with that being the. Let's see if there are other letters around here. This is actually, in case you're wondering what this map is, this is actually a map of the Misty Vale that I got at Gen Con earlier this year. So we're getting a chance to spotlight it. I do still have the normal paper map in here, so let me see if that text is any more legible. I'm willing to bet not, though, to my annoyance. No, of course it's not. And I can't tell what the. Let's see if there's. Looks like there's the same letter up there, but it's still not any more legible. I wonder if some of the adventures might give me an idea on what that's supposed to be. I don't know if that's supposed to be Rummer or Cummer River. Problem is I can't tell. Or actually the mountains. Oh, Cummer. Looks like Cummer Mountains. That's supposed to be a K. That is a very hard to read K. Let me bring this up so that anybody who's able to watch can see what we're looking at. But that's the style of text that we're looking at. So that's what we're up against here. Anyway, now that we've got that sorted out, let's start establishing the situation here. So they've been and it's actually here. So we're in the Cummer Mountains right now. So here's the story to set the scene. The ancient and narrow pass runs through the mountains like an axe gash. Steep, moss-covered slopes rise to the snow-laden peaks that can occasionally be glimpsed through the veils of cloud. Somewhere ahead lies the Misty Vale, the legendary place where the empires of old stored their wealth and magical artifacts. It is the rumor of these treasures that has brought you here. The vast riches and arcane secrets hidden among the ruins on the other side of the mountains. And you are not the first to be lured by such temptations, and probably won't be the last. That's actually not part of the story. Probably not be the last part. Since the orcs started leaving the area about a decade ago, a growing stream of settlers and adventurers have made their way to the Misty Vale. But you know the way is treacherous and fraught with peril. The old imperial roads have crumbled, and the mountains are teeming with danger. The Drakmar Pass, where you now find yourself, so we're actually in the Drakmar Pass, is particularly infamous. The dwarves of the Cummer Mountains have warned that the humans' return has attracted brigands and ravenous beasts to the area. Your fears come true when you suddenly hear a disconcerting whimper. You see a figure lying in the middle of the rocky road, only 20 or so meters ahead of you. The figure is wearing a simple gray robe and clutching a dark bundle to his chest. As the whimper turns into a rattling wheeze, you realize the person is gravely wounded. And annoyingly, we don't have a separate map to zoom in on Drakmar Pass. Actually, I don't think we do anyway. No, but I should have enough. I probably have enough maps in my RPG books to make do with something. So bear with me while I look for a suitable map. So basically, we need some kind of a mountain pass. Actually, I think this one... Yeah, I can actually work with this map. So here's the map of our current situation. I'm going to grab one of my... This is one of the map books that I've got that I use with RPGs. I'm going to zoom in on this just a little bit so you can see where we're at. I will zoom back out in just a second though, so we make sure we capture the dice tower for any kind of rolls. So it looks like we are going to be at... So it looks like we're going to be about here, I think. So I think we're about there as we're moving in. So now we get ambushed by goblins. So now we're about to get ambushed. Let me see if I can find a couple of goblins I can use for ambush. So I've got 2, and I need 1 more. Because I need a boss, essentially. Okay, this will work. We've got the grunts and we've got a grunt. We've got a couple grunts and one with some a little extra gear. So this book, Dave, is actually the Giant Book of Battle Mats Volume 3. This is one of the books from Loke Battle Mats. I've actually picked up quite a few of these in my RPG time. So I'm getting our goblins out. Question is, are they looking around? And I think the answer to that is going to be... let's see. So Weatherman is found there. If the players move closer, they see his panic. They are going to move a little bit closer to him to see what they've got going on. So one of them, actually, Orla probably would be the one to look. It takes no skill to conclude that the arrow is poisoned. Purple-blue streaks are branching out and can also be seen on his face. Who's got the highest charisma? Charisma is... I would be stunned if it's not Orla, and it is. So Orla's got the pack that he was holding. As he's saying in a breathy, fading voice, "Quick, take it. Leonara will understand. Message from Master Weatherman. Must find all 4 pieces. The secret of the Dragon Emperor." So they're wondering they're initially wondering what they're talking about. They're kind of a little taken aback by that, and now they're about to get ambushed as I'm trying to put together our standees. So we've got goblins sneaking in from, I think one's over here, another one is here, and the warg rider that we're going to have as well. Where does he come from? Scimitar and a long spear. Do I have a goblin like that in here? No, but I'm going to make do. Alright, so this one with a spear and a shield is going to be our warg rider, even though he's not riding a wolf. Okay, would anybody be looking around? Probably not. But before we get into the ambush, we should focus a little bit on the dynamic between Baston and Orla. Try to figure out what they're doing together. So that's the first question I'm going to put to the Oracle in the Solo Adventurer's Toolbox. So is this Baston and Orla? Is this a working relationship? And the way we're going to determine that is we're going to grab our D20 and we're going to feed that into the oracle. Now, we could also modify this depending on the situation. So given that there's an elf and given that we've got an elf and a wolfkin, so he's also young. So Bastin is a wolfkin from the north. Orla is an elf, I believe, from the south, right? Yes. So I'm actually going to modify the roll. So I'm going to call it an unlikely. Actually, I'm going to call it likely that this is going to be a working relationship. The reason I'm going to say likely is because wolfkin from the north, elf from the south, they're probably not very likely to have met each other, I would say, in previous travels. So whatever the D20 yields, I'm going to modify that. I'm going to subtract 3 from it. That's a 12. That'll modify down to a 9. And it'll be a no but. So it's not a working relationship, which means which to me means they've had some previous interaction. The question is, the next question is going to be, so they've had some kind of previous interaction. Previous interaction. Next question I'm going to ask is, was it a friendly interaction? And that I'm going to take a straight roll on, because I could go either way with that. And actually, I should probably zoom out so you can actually see the roll on the dice tower. That's an 11, which I think an 11 is going to be a yes but. So yes but. So it's a friendly interaction, but maybe a friendly rivalry kind of thing. So almost like they've got a kill count and trying to outdo each other, but they're still friends at the end of the story. So now we're getting attacked. Would anybody have been looking around? Actually, before we do that, let's roll I have a feeling Bastin would probably be tunnel visioning, but Orla might have actually possibly been able to listen for something. So does she have something that I could roll for that? She is going to roll an awareness check, because I think she might have heard something. So to see if we can notice the attack and then draw initiative as usual. So she's got to roll under a 12. Actually, it's going to be under 12. Actually, let me double check that. But I think it's supposed to be, does equal to count? Equal to or under? Okay, so 12 or less. So Orla for an awareness check. That's an 11, so she will just barely pass, which means she'll alert Bastin like, hey, we have company. They'll notice the goblins in time. And then we will draw our initiative card. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to draw initiative. So success. Notice the attack. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to each can make an awareness attack. Alright, so all the Goblin Scouts act on the same turn. Okay. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to draw initiative. I'll let Orla draw initiative first, because she actually was able to notice the attack. If we would have failed, we would have gotten surprised. So we would have gotten these cards are numbered 1 to 10. And Orla will draw on initiative a 3, so that's potentially pretty good. We'll see what Baston gets. He gets a 5. And then the goblins will act on 4. So the initiative is going to go Orla, then the goblins, then Baston. Okay, so we've got initiative all figured out. Okay, so he was actually the Warg Rider is going to be hidden. He's going to be hidden up here. So they don't know that he's there yet, but they do know about the 2 goblins down here. So let's go ahead and on a combat round, you can move and perform 1 action. So Orla is going to using a bow. So if we're using a bow, we obviously want to have her attack from range. So she's got the quiver with the ironhead bow, and obviously these are goblins, so she's going to be, given that she's got a weakness of intolerance, she's going to be very much bloodthirsty for these guys. So the longbow has got a range of 100, damage D12, and piercing. Okay, so what would it be to make a ranged attack? Ranged attack if you roll a demon in combat. Okay, so standing 2 meters away or less gives you a bane, which she's going to move. So Orla's going to move. So actually, here's our Orla mini. She's going to move over 1, take a shot at this goblin. So she could use her twin shot to shoot 2 arrows instead of 1, roll to hit with a bane, but she's not going to do that. She's going to just roll like normal. And she's using a... must first be drawn. Free action, she's going to draw her bow, and then she's going to fire at this goblin that she can see. So, specify the range of various weapons. Let's see, ranged weapon, she's got a, a longbow. And she'll be using, piercing requires a quiver, which she's also got. Rolling an attack. That's probably a skill check, but I'm trying to figure out what it is. Let's see. What is the attack test going to be? It's probably not an acrobatics test. I don't think that would be what I would want. Oh, it's probably weapon skill with her bow. She needs to roll a 14 or less. That's a 17, so she will actually miss her attack. Her attack will go wide. And each of the map squares is going to represent a foot in combat. So the goblins are going to attack next. And the scouts have a... So we've got both of these. Both these two are our goblin scouts. They've got the black mark of Maladuke. All act on the same turn. So they don't have any kind of short... They have a short bow, which short bow gives them a range of up to... Shortbow gives them probably not as much of a range as a longbow does. Shortbow gives them a range of up to 30, so still enough to shoot at Orla, which that one will. That one's got a shortbow skill of a 12, which that will also miss. This one is going to move 2 spaces and take a shot at Baston. That will hit, doing a d10 of damage. Yikes, that'll do 10 points of damage to Baston right off the bat. He's going to be at 7 hit points. He's not in real good shape right now. And Baston, does he have anything special against that? He's gluttonous. He's taking every chance he can to eat something. So Baston's scarred and wily, looks loyally at friends but menacingly at foes, good care of clothes, and often wears fragrant perfumes. As for Orla, smooth and confident walk, clear eyes that suspiciously scrutinize everyone, eager and swift in thought and action. So Baston's turn, he's going to move down after this goblin, and he's going to attack. He's got his long spear. With a spear, he's got a skill of a 14. So let's see if he has any better luck with his attack than Orla had with her bow. That's a 4, so he will hit this goblin. He's going to do 2d8 of damage. I should have 2d8s in here, and I do. I have a feeling I'm going to start building some Dragonbane sets of dice here soon. 2 and 6 is 8, so this goblin... So the goblin that he just went after is actually down to 1 HP. So 1 HP for that goblin. And then we're going to be starting a new round. And now the Warg Rider is going to start to join the fray. So we'll draw initiative cards again. We'll start with Orla since she had initiative in the first round, since she had the highest initiative in the first round. And now the Warg Rider joins the fray. Alright, so Orla's initiative card is an 8. Yikes. Then we'll go to the Goblin Riders. Go to the Goblins next. They're at a 7. Baston needs to try to take his out, so he's got to hope for a high initiative. He gets 1, so he's got as high initiative as he can get. And he will use that to try to take out the goblin that's on him right now. So Baston needs to roll a 14 on this attack. The goblin that he's on only has 1 HP left. A 15, though, won't do it. So now the goblins are acting. We'll have this one take an attack on Baston first with his short sword. He needs a skill level of a 10. That's a 15, so Baston's going to luck out. The question is, will Orla, against the goblin shooting at her, that's got once again, a short bow skill level of a 12. That's a 14, so that'll miss. And now the Warg Rider is going to join the fray. He's got a movement of 20. And he can do, let's see what attack he's going to be looking to do. Armed with a scimitar, Warg Rider counts as a monster in combat and acts on a separate turn. Okay, so we need to get a separate card for the Warg Rider. We're going to assume... Well, let's see what he gets. He will actually be going before... Actually, we'll have him go... We'll have him go now, and then we'll finish up with the attack on Orla. So, where is he moving? He's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Getting over to Orla. What attack is he looking to do here? So we'll roll a d6 for the attack. Let's see, that's a 1. Uh-oh. Ferocious Warg pounces on a player character and slams the victim violently into the ground. The attack inflicts 2d8 bludgeoning damage. Ouch. And she's only got 15 hit points, so this could... It won't take her out, but it won't leave her... Well, 6 HP. That could have been a lot worse. So that'll bring Orla down to 9 HP. Alright, then finishing up with the attack on... Actually, I think the Warg Rider would have ended up here, so this orc, or this goblin, can still shoot at Orla. With a longbow, with a shortbow skill of a 12, actually. So that will actually hit. That will do D10 of damage to Orla. So this could actually wipe her out. A 3 won't do it, but she's not in great shape. Okay, back over to Orla. For her turn, she is... so we weren't able to take out the goblin on Baston. I think Orla, does she have anything for melee? She does not. So I think she's going to try to move away from the Warg Rider, take another shot at this goblin up here. That's a 7, so she will hit it, doing a d12 of damage. I was going to say, I know I've got a d12 in here somewhere. That is 12 points of damage, and they've only got 9 HP, so this goblin is actually just dead. So very nicely done by Orla. And now we're drawing initiative cards again. We'll move over to... We'll draw Baston's card first, since he had the initiative card 1. His card this round is a 6, so middle of the road, since these go, I believe, 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, 10. Then for the goblins, they have the 7. The Warg Rider has the 8, and Orla has the 9. So it's actually kind of easy. So we're basically starting from Baston over on this side and looping around to get to Orla. Baston is going to try again to take out... Actually, is Baston going to try again to take out this goblin, or is he going to go after the Warg Rider now that he sees Orla in something resembling danger? I think he is going to go after Orla, or he is going to go after the Warg Rider. So once again, we need his spear skill. And his spear skill is a 14. That's a 5, so he will hit the Warg Rider. Basically, he's trying to get the Warg Rider's attention using the long spear, which he's drawn, doing 4 points of damage, so not a lot. And I could use a... Actually, I'm going to grab one of my Marvel Champions dials that I have handy. He's got 24 HP, so he's going to be at 20. That's for the Warg Rider, which means Baston is done. Now for the Goblin, he's going to move up. He's got 1 HP left, by the way, and try to take a stab at Baston, since that's the only one he can reach, with a short sword skill of a 10. That's a 20. So we've actually rolled a demon, which means something particularly bad is going to happen. So I know there's a suggestion for that. So he was trying melee. Since he rolled a demon, we're going to roll a d6 for the effect of what happens to the goblin. So in this case, that's a 2, which means the effect here is you expose yourself to the enemy, who gets a free attack that can't be dodged or parried. Right, so yeah, Baston gets a free attack against this goblin. His spear skill once again is a 14. That'll be a hit. That should be more than enough to take this goblin out. There's no way I can roll less than 1 HP on 2d8, so we'll roll 9 damage and take him out anyway. So very nicely done by Gaston, as the goblin screwed the pooch. So now the goblins are done. The Warg Rider... The Warg Rider doesn't flee, I think. No. So the Warg Rider is going to attack Baston. He's going to attack with... Actually, what attack is he going to do? So let's see what he does before we say he's attacking Baston. That's a 4. The Warg Rider rallies his underlings. All remaining scouts gain a boon to all attacks until the Warg Rider's next turn, except we have no more scouts, so joke's on you. All right, then we're over to Orla. She is going to, hang on, I just saw an email I need to take a quick look at. Okay, I'll follow up with that later. Now, where was I? Oh yes, I think I was just about to turn to Orla's attack. So she's going to move. Where is she going to move? She's going to move there, and I see my OBS just had a meltdown. Okay, so Orla backed up a bit so she can shoot at the Warg Rider. Let's grab one of her D20s. Alright, that's a 16, so she will miss. And because of that, we are drawing cards once again. We're going to start with Baston once again. As we're drawing initiative cards. For Baston's initiative, he gets a 2, so he will be going fairly early in the round. As for the Warg Rider, he gets a 9, so hopefully Orla can actually draw a higher initiative card this time. She draws an 8, which is still not a good card, but in this case, good enough. Alright, so Baston is going to start off by attacking with his short spear. With a 14, that's right on the nose, so he will hit. Baston will do 2d6 of damage. Wow, 13 damage with that because he does 2d8. So that'll bring the Warg Rider down to 7. So he's done. As for Orla, she's going to use her bow again. As she's got that ready to go. Her bow skill is a 14. She rolled a 19. Thankfully, not a demon, though. So at least there's that. Then the Warg Rider, let's see what he's trying to do. A 3 is a Ravenous Howl. The Warg raises its head to the sky and lets out a famished howl. All player characters within 10 meters must make a will roll to resist fear. So I'll grab d20s out for both of them. Orla's will is a 10. Baston's is a 13. Baston, Orla. Shockingly, Orla passes and Baston is suffering from fear. So, probably scared. Let's see what that entails. 52 or 84. Alright. Fear. When struck immediately, you can push, but not. Must roll on the fear table on the next page. So let's see what happens with Baston, who failed the roll. Baston on a 5 screams in horror, which causes all player characters who hear the sounds to immediately suffer a fear attack as well. Each person only ever needs to make one. So Baston, fear, scream. So Orla's going to have to make another will roll to resist the fear attack. Which causes all player characters who hear the sound to immediately suffer a fear attack as well. So we'll see if she gets feared again. 13, she does get feared. That's a 7. Which Orla is going to be paralyzed. Petrified with terror and can't move. Joy. So she's got to continue making a will roll on each subsequent turn to break that. Alright, we are back over to Baston for the first initiative roll. We really need, I guess we're probably going to need Bastion to take this Warg Rider out. All right, so Bastion's initiative roll, or initiative card, is the 2 again. Orla's is the 8 this time, actually again. And the Warg Rider has the 9. You guys watched me shuffle this. Let's see if Bastion can take out this Warg Rider with another spear attack. That's a 14. That will hit. If he does at least 7 HP of damage, he will take out the Warg Rider. That's 5 damage, so the Warg Rider is down to 2. He's going to make it interesting for us to the end. Anyway, that is it for Bastion's turn. Orla now has to try to make a will roll. That's not an action to break the paralysis. So she's got to make... yeah. So make a will roll on her subsequent turn. Her will's a 10. That's an 11, so she is unable to act. As for the Warg Rider, that's a 3. This time, Ravenous Howl. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. The same thing again? You know what? We're gonna go with it then. Actually, no we're not. Since Orla is already under an effect and I want to see a different attack. We're gonna keep re-rolling that. Come on. There we go. There's a 1, which is a pounce. The Ferocious Warg pounces on a player character and slams the victim violently to the ground. Inflicts 2d8 bludgeoning damage. Uh-oh. Bastion's at 7 HP. Which that will more than take him out. So Bastion is knocked out. Which means now it's Orla, and Orla is paralyzed with fear. So this is not a great situation for Orla to be in right now. Although he's only got 2 HP left, so if Orla can break paralysis and get a decent result, if Orla can break paralysis and get a good shot with her bow in, she should be able to take out this Warg Rider. But let's see what Orla draws for initiative. She draws a 9. Oh, that's not going to end well. And a 6. Okay. So yeah, she's probably doomed here. Let's see what the Warg Rider's doing. That's a 2. Swing from above. The Warg leaps over a chosen player character, and its rider swings its serrated scimitar from above, inflicting 3d6 slashing damage. Yikes. So what's Orla at right now? Orla is at 6 HP. And we're rolling 3d6. I do not like Orla's chances in the slightest. Yeah, I wish I could even act surprised at this point. So Orla is going to be knocked out, and what they're not going to find out until later is that somebody's going to come from Outskirt, having heard of some commotion in the past. So we can get the map book out of the way. So they were in Drakmar Pass and got knocked out. Somebody heard a commotion coming, ran the last Warg Rider off, and somebody from town is going to bring them in. Jory or Hardy from Outskirt is going to have to come rescue them. So they are going to find themselves in Outskirt, and I think that is where I'm going to call it a stream. Like I said, I was intending this to be a fairly short stream anyway, just to let myself push a few pieces around for Dragonbane. And I do like this system, actually. It's actually fairly straightforward in terms of how you roll for everything. I like that it's more of a roll under system, so it's more of a Call of Cthulhu-esque system than necessarily. It's more of like a Call of Cthulhu system than traditional D&D. Unfortunately, I do have some D&D. I do have some 5e shorts that I don't think I could use with Dragonbane characters. In fact, I'm going to go look for one of them. I'll be right back. I'm not going to get spoilerific with the adventure I grabbed, but I do want to thumb through it a little bit just to see what the... Actually, we might be able to use this. We might have to ignore some of the sub-skills with it, but... We might have to ignore some of the sub-skills, like we can't do, say... We can't do, say, a charisma persuasion check, since we don't have... Actually, we do have persuasion in here. So some of this might work. It might take a little bit of adaptation, but I imagine it would not be a hard sell at all to adapt this to an adventure like, let's see, Wisdom Insight. Wisdom would probably be either willpower or intelligence. There's not a separate wisdom here. So it probably would take a little bit of adapting for this roll in intelligence, arcana, or religion. Could take that as straight intelligence. So actually, I take that back. We could use Dragonbane characters and mechanics for these adventures potentially. Actually, no, we probably couldn't because they're basing this all on D&D. So never mind everything I was just saying about using Dragonbane mechanics for these are the obvious mimic adventures. I just grabbed the Mystery of Witchhaven to give me something very quick that I can thumb through. Just as a look of, hey, can I use these characters for these adventures? And it looks like the answer is probably going to be no to that question. But I'm rambling at this point, so let's wrap the video up. I'm just going to pull everything out here. We'll probably be using these characters again. But there will be more games. There will be at least one more game coming. I'm thinking 2, though. Stay tuned to the channel for both of those. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.